야, 여기 시체 너머에서까지 봐야 되는 거야? 수련.
I'm afraid these leaves can only be added to tea.
이건 아니야. 연. 아, 이걸 안 얻었구나, 젠장.
The ingredients now to prepare.
아까 알로에를 찾았는데 알로에를 다시 한번 이제 얻어야 되네요. 나 찾았네. 치료해야지 어쨌든. 뭐야? 된 거 아니야? 아, 화학식 이걸 해야 되는가 보네. 섞어야 되는 것인가? 화학식을 합니다. 아무거나 가져와. 자, 이거를 한번 보죠. 끝에 거부터지. 그래서 이거를 읽고 됐지? 마이너스 1, 마이너스 2만 만들면 되나? 마이너스 1, 마이너스 2 마이너스 1, 마이너스 2. 야, 이거 2도 없네. 2는 요게 그러면 이걸 뒤집으면 이렇게 됐지? 그러면 0 이것도 합치자. 그래서 그러면 마이너스 4, 5 여기서 3을 갖고 와가지고 3도 없고 그 다음 때 이렇게 쳐가지고 쓰네. 다 써. 이렇게 이렇게 소독량을 만들었고 바로 일어나 버린대. 오.
Drink as much water as you can.
오.
At least he won't die from the infection.
이제 다시 수제. 계속해서 이제 증거 탐험.
Coal dust under the nails. I don't see much coal around here.
석탄. 그때 미술품 태운 사람도 석탄을 만졌었지. 그건가 보네요. 이 사람인가 보네.
Heavy boots, with one sole far more worn than the other. This man was limping John.
이거 확실하네. 이 정도면 뭐여도 뭐. 야, 뽑으면 어떡해. 홈즈야.
Sharp. A common accessory among sailors and soldiers. I'd say the blade penetrated upward, however the wound is too messy to be certain. An interesting tattoo. Does it mean something? Violent death. But this man, limping, coal dust. I think we're onto something here, John. You know what? I'd like to understand.
What?
How did our dead man end up inside the camp in the first place?
아, 또 눈 아프려고 하네. 야, 이 게임만 하면 눈이 아파. 신기한 게임이야.
You know, Sherry, it's dawned on me to not clown around with knives anymore.
If they find out about the passage, everything will go to hell.
무슨 얘기야? 무슨 통로인지 알아내십시오. 난민 캠프에서 무슨 일이 벌어지고 있나? 경관들이 시체가 발견된 것 때문에 캠프에 엄격한 봉쇄 조치가 내려져 계획에 차질이 생기고 현금 수금에 뭐야 이게 문제가 생길까 걱정하고 있다. 현금 수금?
Nobody will know anything if you keep your bloody mouth shut.
The coppers smell fishy here, Sherry. Perhaps we should
이게 무슨 얘기지?
around in the camp a little more thoroughly.
여기에 뭐 돈 수금? 무슨 얘기야 갑자기? 이상한 방향으로 내용이 흘러가고 있는데? 남자는 해군용 칼에 찔렸다. 날은 위쪽으로 관통했다. 그러나 칼이 아직 흉곽 내에 있을 때 이리저리 움직인 것처럼 가슴에 자창이 나 있다. 왼쪽 발의 밑창이 오른쪽보다 더 달아있다. 남자는 분명히 다리를 절었을 것이다. 손톱 아래 석탄 가루가 있다. 목에 있는 독특한 문신 두 개의 선이 수평으로 위아래 그려져 있고 그 위에는 점이 찍혀 있다.
May I ask for your assistance?
A solid question, sir, but I don't have the answer.
다른 걸로 해야 되나?
May I ask for your assistance?
A solid question, sir, but I don't have the answer.
This isn't working.
집중. 주요 인물과 대화하기. 집중 주요.
You might need a different tack.
It's unlikely anyone could get in or out of the camp by water without alerting the police guards.
도대체 어디로 들어온 거야? 여기야?
No, it's too short for these walls or cliffs.
다 돌아다녔는데 없었어. 그러나 찾아보면 또 나왔었어. 그렇지, 이건 뭐 막 도대체 어딜 뒤져야 되는 거지 이제?
You still here?
The guards at the sewers were speaking about taking refugees out of the camp. Do you know anything about this, Inspector?
Less than you do, obviously.
And this doesn't bother you as an officer of the law?
I can neither punish them nor put them on the right track, if that's what you're asking. Maybe your friends at City Hall could do something about it, but I seriously doubt that. To be honest, I'm sick and tired of being frowned on for my uniform. If those fine gentlemen you've eavesdropped on are in some shady business, that's on their heads.
이것까진 이야기 됐고, 그러면 요것만 이제 신경 쓰면 되네. 이 뭐야 이게.
A single Malpal butt.
이게 다야?
Roadman cigarettes. A brand highly regarded by law enforcement officers.
같이 폈다고?
There wasn't any sophisticated infiltration plan. The good old police just let the man into the camp.
같이 폈네. 에이,
What happened at the camp?
이런 썩을. 그냥 보내줬구만. 이런 진정할. 여기는 그냥 있네.
So, we have a thug who came to take a refugee woman with him. She resisted, but he dragged her by force. One of the refugees stood in his way, armed with a stick, yet he could do nothing against a cutthroat with a blade. The man didn't anticipate that the other refugees would intervene and stand against him. In the confusion, the woman managed to break free. The thug took fright and fled. He was stopped by the falling crates, he stumbled and fell, piercing his chest with his own blade. However, the wound didn't cause instant death. He managed to stand, but still bleeding, he lost his balance on the bridge and fell. Before all of this, the man had freely entered the camp through the main entrance. The police admitted him after they had a short smoke together.
You live by the sword, you die by the sword. In our man's case, it's the same sword.
You still here?
Inspector, I believe I can aid your investigation. I know who the dead man is and what really happened here.
You do? Well, good for you. But I'm afraid I'm not the one you need to share your findings with. Speak to Mr. Harlow here. He's the one responsible for settling things in the camp.
You don't even care to listen?
Oh, I do care. And maybe even more than I need to. But I'm only here today to lock the place up, question witnesses, and file the facts. It's sad, but coming up with conclusions is not among my tasks here. You fellows at City Hall do that. Anyway, speak to the supervisor. I'll just stand by and listen to what you have to say.
Mr. Harlow, your refugees didn't murder anyone.
What? Pray tell me what you've learned.
All right, listen carefully. This might solve one problem for you, but will create a few more.
Oh, well, that's a great start.
The man came to the camp intending to kidnap one of your refugees, a woman. What he didn't expect was that the refugees would stand up to protect the woman. A brawl had broken out. In the chaos of it, the man stumbled over those crates and fell on his own blade.
How do you know he fell on his own blade?
The wound in his chest was inflicted from an unusual angle. It was not an offensive stab, shall we say. The refugees didn't touch him. And judging by the blood at the scene, the intruder managed to raise himself but was unable to walk very far. He ultimately fell into the canal.
But how did he sneak into the camp? Why didn't the police see him?
And this is where your new problems emerge, Mr. Harlow.
What do you mean?
You're not a dull-witted man. You know what I mean. There is no feasible way to get into the camp without the police guards knowing of it.
The pile of mess I had to sort out has just become bigger, but somehow that doesn't surprise me. Anyway, I thank you for your help, Mr. Holmes. I'll take it from here. Meanwhile, I'll make sure the police aren't detaining the refugees any longer. You can go back in and look for your witness.
야, 바로 믿어버리네.
Any difference in this place?
Who knows, John? Just one ill-fitting cog could make the whole machine crumble.
바로 믿어버리다니.
You're the one who tended to our man's wounds. I thank you greatly. The police didn't allow us to help him.
The police will leave you alone now. I've proven to them that the man who came into the camp died due to his own foolishness.
Thank you for standing up for us. But nobody would help us without a reason. You're here because you want something.
Yes, I do. I need to speak with the girl drawn here.
The dead man came for her too. He wanted to take the girl away, but we won't allow her to be hurt again. What do you want from Nayla?
Nayla. She was hurt some time ago. I'm here to find the people who did this and bring them to justice. And to find them, I need Nayla's help. Will you let me speak to her?
Justice. There's no justice on this land. But you helped us, so maybe your words are not empty. You can speak to Nayla, if she wants it. But I will be watching you.
이 복장 괜히 했네.
Hello, Nayla? My name is Sherlock. I know someone hurt you. I am here to help. I'm trying to find the people involved and bring them to justice. Please. There is a photograph, and I'm sorry, it is terrible, but I simply must ask. Where did this happen? What can you tell me about these people? Christ, Sherlock. Nayla, I'm sorry. I'm not very good at this.
You come here for me, but you are rude and cruel and condescending. A cross. The man had this cross. Now go away. Leave us be. I do not need another white man's help.
Oh, glad that wasn't me.
Not my best work, John, by a long shot. Nayla doesn't want us meddling. I'm starting to wonder what this all achieves.
But she helped you anyway. Now we know that maniac's face and the cross he wore, we can still catch him.
고위 관료라고? 도둑은 사진 훔치려 메르쿠리오의 집에 왔지만 사진을 찾지 못하고 자신을 방어하려다가 화가를 죽인 말. 그렇다면 일단 할 수 있는 게 문신을 탐문할 수 있고, 이걸 굳이 할 필요가 있나? 이 사람에게 묻는 게 필요한데 이건 이제 다 끝난 것 같은데 그냥 경찰한테 물어봐. 그냥 경찰들.
At least some of your kind have a hat. Thank you again.
Are you able to help me?
They often take us from the camps to work. Most don't mind, though. It's the only way we get a glimpse of freedom.
난민들의 말에 따르면 수상한 사람들이 정기적으로 캠프에 방문하고 난민들을 데려가 다양한 일을 시킨다고 한다. 이 일은 보통 힘든 편이지만 난민들은 돈과 음식을 얻는다. 그 여자애도 그런 식으로 일을 시키러 데려갔다가 폭행을 당했다. 그 난민들은 그들이 여성을 데려가지 못하게 하기로 했다.
So there's a smuggling ring in the camp. This wasn't the first time that someone freely entered the camp to take a refugee out.
At least it was certainly his last time. My gut tells me that we'll learn more about this ring when we find out where the thug came from.
얘를 찾으러 고위 공무원 같다라고 하면 이제 공무원 찾으러 가야 되는 거네. 시청? 일단 여길 나가자. 옷도 바꾸고. 가까운 데 있네?
Treasure maps from the governor.
토마스 노튼의 인적 상황. 토마스 노튼이야? 1840년에 런던에서 출생, 1864년에 옥스퍼드 대학교 졸업, 1869년에 내무성에서 비서로 일을 시작함, 1875년에 인도에서 군사위원직을 맡음, 1877년에 여왕이 하사하는 바스 운정 수여, 1878년 3월 1일 코르도나의 영국 특사로 임명돼. 어우, 영국 특사야? 난 당연히 저 사람이 뭔가 알려줄 거라 생각했는데? 토마스 노튼 사무실이 아예 있네? 헤이, 당신과 대화를 직접 나눠야 되겠군. 나는 셜록이야.
If you're here on matters of signing up for military service, come back tomorrow. Our department needs to straighten out some business.
관찰, 홈즈의 특기. 새로운 인물이 나오면 또 이렇게 관찰을 합니다. 붉은 눈, 지난밤 잘 잠들지 못했다. 면도할 시간이 없음. 바스 혼자 항상 하고 있어 낡았다. 자부심이 있나 보네. 구겨진 옷, 늦게까지 일하나? 아사시 수색을 해야 돼. 이거 뭐야? 붉은 얼굴, 와인인가? 아니, 이런 걸 왜, 이 사람 바보 아니야? 씻어야 될 거 아니야? 특사는 파티를 좋아한다. 손목에 묻은 레드 와인 얼룩과 면도하지 않은 얼굴은 자신의 의무에 대한 게으른 태도를 보여준다. 바스 훈장이 꽤 낡아 보인다. 남자는 훈장을 자랑스럽게 여기며 절대 떼지 않는다. 주름진 옷과 붉은 눈은 지난밤 집에 돌아가지 않았다는 뜻일 수 있다. 이 남자는 일보다는 타락과 알코올에 몰두할 것이다. 가 한 가지고 특사는 후회하고 있다. 손목의 붉은 자국은 그가 최근에 와인을 마셨다는 뜻이다. 그의 옷은 주름져 있고 면도에 거의 신경을 쓰지 않으며 붉은 눈은 그가 불면증이나 깊은 불안감에 시달린다는 뜻이다. 그는 과거의 실수에 대한 끔찍한 기억을 지우려고 애쓰고 있으며 악몽 속에서 사는 것처럼 보인다. 이게 맞는 것 같은데? 타락과 알코올에 너무 나간 추론이고 잠들지 못했다. 잠들지 못했다라는 것이 놀았을 수도 있지. 잠들지 못했다라는 것으로 면도 못했다. 신경 쓰지 못했다. 게으른 태도. 아스 훈장. 아스 훈장 같은 걸 하고 있는 거 봤으면 게으름을 본인이 좋아할 것 같지 않은데? 이게 더 맞는 것 같습니다. 일단은 이걸로 할게요. 수락.
Why are you staring at me like I'm a Madame Tussauds figure? Didn't you hear what I just said?
You blame yourself for what you did. Won't be any good unless you confess to me, so I'll try to be polite.
What sort of did are we talking about? Are you from the press?
I'm here because of Naylor.
Who?
You don't remember her name.
Lad, if you won't tell me where you came, I'll call for someone here to sort you out, if you get my meaning.
여기 있는 사람들은, 그러니까 뭔가 주요 용의자로 나오는 것 같은 사람들은 시치미를 너무 잘 떼. 그래서 잡혀갈 때까지 시치미를 계속 떼기 때문에 이거 끝까지 듣다 보면 이게 이 사람 맞나? 이런 생각이 들 정도예요. 보통 김전일이나 코난이나 이런 데 보면 결국은 이제 딱 범인 지목하고 증거 삭되면 갑자기 자기가 자백을 하잖아. 이런 게 일절 없어 지금까지 봤을 때. 그래서 끝까지 찜찜해. 일단 당신 말을 듣기 위해서
I have a solid piece of evidence that proves you guilty of the violation of a young girl.
What kind of evidence? The silly painting? That's ridiculous. Rumors. Don't listen to a word of it.
I wouldn't call it solid if it were just a painting. I have a photograph that would be enough to cause a scandal at the very least, not to mention criminal consequences.
A photograph? Oh, so you've plucked up courage to finally come here. I won't pay you a single coin until I see the photograph for myself.
I'm not interested in money. I came here to hear your version of what took place. I'm not in the habit of making rash decisions.
Not in the habit? Well, it didn't seem like that from the letter you wrote.
I've never written a single word to you. That's not my style. I'm more direct. But in exchange for my patience, I demand your full cooperation. I need you to tell me everything.
Fine. I suppose now we have a nice long talk. Do you drink, Mr.
Sherlock Holmes. And I do not.
Shame. All the best discussions are accompanied by a glass of whiskey. But out of respect for you, I won't drink either.
Respect? That's an unusual word in your mouth, Mr.
Where are my manners? My name is Thomas Norton, a British envoy in Cordona on a military mission. So, where do we start?
Mercurio.
Boniface Mercurio. Does the name mean anything to you?
He's an artist, right?
The one responsible for the painting that compromises you. I found him dead in his room.
Oh, that is bad. Wait, you don't think that I have anything to do with this?
You had motive to kill him.
Maybe I did, but listen. I know how this looks, but murder? That's on another level. I had thoughts that this Mercutio...
Mercurio?
Well, him, yes. I thought he could have been the blackmailer. But I was too afraid to make any hasty decisions. There were plenty of ways to fail by making a move, so I chose to wait. To see what he would do next. You have to believe me.
I don't believe people, I believe evidence.
Then look at the evidence.
You mentioned blackmail. Tell me about it.
All right. A couple of days ago, I received an anonymous letter. It said that in the art gallery at Caravansary there exists a painting that incriminates me. The blackmailer made it clear that if there is a painting, then a photograph exists too. And I should be wary of what it might do to my reputation.
What does the blackmailer want from you?
Money, of course. What else do such people want? Needless to say, I don't remember anyone taking photographs at the party. Up until the last moment, I hoped he was bluffing. But he wasn't, as you've just proven to me.
Show me the letter.
I burnt it as soon as I read it. I've left enough evidence. There's no need for any more.
So, let's return to the beginning. What happened at the party?
I vaguely remember that night. As usual at such parties, you meet people, you talk with them, they invite you to spend some time alone with them. What can I say? I got myself mixed up with the wrong company, and somebody must have mixed some psychoactive substance in my drink. After that, it's all blurry. I completely lost my sanity. I made a terrible mistake which I regret deeply.
You don't say. Do refugee girls often appear on the menu at those types of parties?
It's rather rare.
So you didn't attend the party to engage in an exotic experience involving a vulnerable woman unable to accuse you of assault?
I would never have planned such a terrible thing. What happened was just bad circumstance.
아니, 그럼 모르고 갔다라는 건가? 이 사람은?
The painting that depicted you in the image of the devil was stolen by a mercenary. Did you have anything to do with it?
I might be a rotten person, sir, but hiring criminals for illicit purposes is not in my daily schedule.
And buying the painting in an attempt to hide the crime, is that on your daily schedule?
What would you do in my situation?
I would never put myself in such a situation.
You're young. I could never have imagined myself in my current position, yet here I am in front of you. We all make mistakes, Mr. Holmes, and I'm no exception. Mr. Holmes, I've built my entire career on hard work and uncompromising dedication to the Crown. I made a mistake, but I'm not a villain from some cheap adventure fiction. By putting me behind bars, you will benefit precisely no one.
Rotting in prison is the least you deserve, but I have a better idea. You will make amends and help the ones you hurt.
난민을 도우세, 닐라를 도우세. 뭐랄까? 닐라에게
Naylor deserves the very utmost of what you can do.
Help the girl? I can't risk the press paying extra attention to her. I will do anything except that.
That's not all. Use your connections to help patriate the refugees, find them decent homes, give them jobs. There must be a meaning to your position and my decision.
Yes, all right, I can do that. So, will you give me the photograph now?
I need to think this all through. Don't do anything foolish in the meantime.
What makes you think you can decide what's best for these people?
Such is the arrogance of British imperialism.
아니, 난민 여자애를 성폭행했는데 왜 이렇게 정도로만 끝내? 특사의 진술. 특사는 자신이 파티에 있었지만 약에 취한 상태라 사건에 대해 거의 기억하지 못한다고 했다. 그는 익명의 사람으로부터 편지 하나를 받았다. 이 익명의 사람을 일단 찾는 게 굉장히 중요하겠네요. 익명의 사람은 사진을 대가로 특사를 협박해 돈을 갈취하려고 했다. 또한 그는 도둑을 고용하지 않았으며 메르쿠리오의 죽음에도 책임이 없지만 사회적 위치를 잃을까 두려워 그림을 사려고는 했다고 주장했다. 그렇다면 메르쿠리오를 죽인 그 화가를 그 파티에서 특사가 여자를 이제 성폭행하는 그런 사진을 찍고 그것에 대해 그림을 그려가지고 화랑에 걸은 그 메르쿠리오를 죽인 사람이 이제 고용된 사람이라고 추정이 되는데 그 사람을 고용한 사람이 이 특사는 아니라는 거. 이 말에 따르면 그 도둑은 죽었기 때문에 난민촌에서 사망한 채로 발견됐기 때문에 그 도둑을 고용한 사람을 어쨌든 찾아야 되는 상황입니다. 그는 자신의 죄를 인정하긴 했지만 내게 거래를 제안했다. 내가 그에게 사진을 가져다 주면 그는 난민들을 도울 것이다. 만들어. 특사이즈. 사진은 특사. 이거야? 특사는 증거를 숨기고 싶어한다. 특사가 사진을 원하는 것은 실리적인 이유다. 그가 사진을 손에 넣으면 그의 평판을 위험하는 것은 아무것도 없다. 이거 아무리 봐도 이 특사가 수상한데 뭐 자기는 고용 안 했다고 하는데 여기 나오는 사람의 말을 믿기도 어렵고 죽은 채 발견된 남자, 그러니까 청부 이제 된 청부 의뢰 받은 사람이죠. 독특한 문신. 이 문신을 캐야 되는데
Who isn't allowed to visit the crime scene these days?
언제까지 있을 거야 이 사람들은?
You still here?
뭐야 아직도 이 사람하고 할 얘기가 있나?
Go and bother someone else with this, son. I've already told you all I've learned. Go and bother someone else with this, son. Go and bother someone else with this, son.
The intruder has a most peculiar tattoo on his neck, 2 lines and a point. Do you know anything about it?
You really want to know, kid? Why? You want to play a policeman or something?
I'm sure you have it in your records, so it won't hurt if I have it in mine.
In my records, it's just a tattoo, as it should be in yours. Ah, to hell with you. Suit yourself as to what you're going to do with it. Off the record, though, such tattoos are often connected to a man named Mr. Niccolo Bernadotti.
Bernadotti, you say?
A respectable businessman in Scaladio. His company imports goods and wines, and smuggles everything that can be smuggled between the colonies and the mainland. His people can be identified by an obscure tattoo, just like the one over there our friend has. But these are all merely rumors, you see. If Mr. Bernadotti was a criminal, he'd be in prison now. Or hanged, right?
그랬구나. 이걸 들었어야 했구나. 아, 진짜 이걸 내가 왜 안 들었지? 옷 괜히 샀잖아. 다 벗어. 난민 캠프의 톡스베리 경위는 니콜로 버나도티라는 사람과 연관된 자들이 이런 종류의 문신이 있다고 한다. 버나도티는 스칼라디오 출신의 사업가로 식민지와 몬토 사이를 오가며 상품과 와인을 수입하는 것처럼 위장해 밀수 조직을 운영하고 있다는 소문이 있다. 스칼라디오 출신.
Murder! Beasts!
스칼라디오에 그러면 가야 될까? 가야 되나? 이 사람 왜 이렇게 무섭게 계속 이렇게 있어? 대상, 사업체, 시민. 사업체라고 해야 되나? 영국인일까? 스칼라디오. 버나도티 유한 회사 요약. 설립 1873년 니콜로 버나도티가 설립함. 본사 동남 스칼라디오. 라자가 교차로 근처 로만가. 라자가 교차로? 버나도티 유한 회사는 아프리카 영국 식민지와 코르도나를 포함한 영국령을 오가며 제품 운송한다. 수입하는 제품으로는 음식, 와인, 커피, 생필품 등이 있다. 회사 설립자는 니콜로 버나도티 씨다. 이탈리아 시칠리아에서 태어난 버나도티 씨는 39세의 나이 사업가 신분으로 런던으로 거주지를 옮겼다. 같은 해 말 그는 사업의 본거지를 코르도나로 옮겼다. 그의 말로는 코르도나가 사업을 운영 중인 식민지와 더 가깝기 때문이라고 한다. 1873년에 버나도티 씨가 코르도나에 도착한 후 그는 중요한 예술계 후원가 및 코르도나 사회복지 투자가로 발돋움했다. 가장 최근 공헌했던 것으로는 경찰서를 위해 새 장비를 구매한 것과 리드 제플린이라는 비행선을 독일에서 가져올 수 있도록 총독을 지원한 일이 있다. 그러면 아자가 교차로 그 로마크 로만과 교차로 근처 바자가 거꾸로네. 바자가 여기 있고 로만가 바자가 여기를 얘기하는 건가? 바자가 로만가 오늘 중심만 가보자. 뭐지 여기? 서점이야?
Help me, please.
Sorry, but I never heard of this.
서점인데? 서점엔 뭐 필요한 게 있어? 서점이 왜 있는 거지? 버나도티 유한회사 이거 아닌데. 아 여기네? 버나도티 리미티드.
It seems they're not expecting guests.
I won't wait for an invitation, John.
구주라고. 정문이 닫혀있다. 다른 들어갈 생각이구나. 무서운 사람이구만. 총 들고 있는데? Shut up.
Workers don't look like your average Cordona folk.
They're refugees from the camp.
장난 아닌데?
That's our way in, Sherry.
뭘 어디로 들어가? 생각이야.
You go talk to that beef. I'll sneak up from behind and take him out.
사람 제낀다고? 무슨 얘기야?
This is private property. You lost something.
시청 업무로 왔습니다.
Good day, sir. I've been sent by City Hall to see Mr. Bernadotte about...
Mr. Bernadotte isn't seeing anyone. You have 3 seconds to walk away or you'll never walk again. Capito?
It's in Mr. Bernadotte's best interest to...
1.
Listen, the man Bernadotte sent to...
2.
I did try to resolve this peacefully.
에? 때렸다고? 저기요, 이게 뭐야? 나와버렸네? 예서 들어갔는데 왜 나와?
Sherry, look. This seems familiar.
이런 거 밀수하는 사람인가 보네.
A Dogon statue from West Africa. A century old at least. Masks, traditional for the Chokwe people of Central Africa. VH Grindley Flow Blue tableware. This is what lies behind the facade of Bernadotte Company Limited. Let's see what's hidden there.
이거네.
Vogel's stolen painting. Isn't it curious how it developed into a much more interesting case?
이 사람은
No, sir. Don't hurt me.
It's all right. I won't harm you.
Like you didn't harm the folks on the way here?
May I ask you something?
Sorry, we don't see much here.
Could you help me?
Sorry, we don't see much here.
You obviously haven't thought this.
이것도 그러면 변장해야 돼? 이게 너무하잖아. 체제에 고통받는 자들, 모든 난민은 체제 피해자다. 그들이 처한 상황은 반드시 해결되어야만 하며 또 해결할 수 있는 일이다. 뭐야? 잠깐만 좀 있어봐. 그 선택할 때가 아니야.
Could you help me?
Sorry, we don't see much here.
안 돼? 요술 안 됩니까? 아프리카 옷 입었는데?
May I ask you something?
안 되는가 보다.
We don't see much here.
알았다. 이 사람한테 이 사람 왜 있는 거지 도대체?
An amazing piece of culture. I imagine many collectors and museums would be interested in having it.
Don't come any closer. One step and I'll shred you to pieces.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Righto. Yes. Yep. Well, excuse me, sir. I think I hear I've got to... It's better I leave.
Whoa. Oh, wow. That was as if somebody put my words in your mouth.
뭐 다 열 수 있는 건 아니겠지 설마? 너무 많은데 중국가 보면 살펴봐야 될 게 너무 많은데. 로지스틱. 오케이 다행이다. 오. 아니
This is it. This is where all the magic happens.
I suppose it's Mr. Bernadotte with our fine governor. (1875) was taken a few years back. John, how many people in Cordona have a photograph with the governor, do you think?
You definitely don't have one.
Please don't shoot me. I have a family. Spare me.
So, you've cut through all the guards just to talk to me. Then come here, and we shall talk.
다 찾은 건가? 씨, 홈주군. 이런 상황 속도 아주 태평.
Whenever you're ready. I'd hate to intrude.
조직 문신 다른 사람들과 다르다. 이번 3개짜리네. 단단한 손, 지저분한 일을 피하지 않는다. 헬라그라를 알았다. 맹렬한. 이혼. 계산적인 배우면 무자비한 조직. 계산적인 배우 인물에는 니콜로 버나도티는 냉혹한 조직의 우두머리 있죠. 계산적인 사업가 있다. 그는 자신감이 넘치며 위협적인 분위기를 풍긴다. 위험할 것에 대비해 총을 가까이 두지만 그래도 권총집에 보관한다. 버나도티는 노동자 계급의 후손이다. 가난한 집안에서 자랐기 때문에 그는 어릴 때부터 밭에서 일해야 했다. 태양 아래에서 하는 고단한 일과 나쁜 영양 상태 때문에 펠라그라를 알았다. 그는 질환을 이겨냈지만 아직 피부에 그 흔적이 남아 있다. 이제 재정적으로 여유가 있음에도 그는 복장과 외모를 상당히 보수적으로 꾸미며 상류층과 거리를 둔다. 버나도티와 그의 부하들은 서로 다르지만 같은 스타일의 문신을 하고 있다. 문신은 긴밀하게 조직된 비밀 범죄 조직 내부에서 지위를 나타내는 암호일 확률이 높다. 무자비한 조직도. 니콜로 버나도티는 그다음 젊은 시절 근면한 일꾼이었던 버나도티는 자신을 둘러싼 세상을 향해 증오를 키워왔다. 그는 끊임없이 곤란한 일을 기대하며 언제나 문제를 일으킬 준비가 되어 있다. 가난한 집안에서 자랐기 때문에 그는 어릴 때부터 밭에서 일해야 했다. 그 때문에 펠라그라를 알았으며 아직 피부에 그 흔적이 남아있다. 그는 자신의 원동력과 정체성이 어디에 왔는지 항상 기억하기 위해 화려한 옷으로 흔적을 숨기길 거부한다. 버나도티와 그의 부하들은 서로 다르지만 같은 스타일의 문신을 하고 있다. 문신은 긴밀하게 조직된 비밀 범죄 조직 내부에서 지위를 나타내는 암호일 가능성. 여기 뭔 차이가 있지? 뭔 차이가 있는 거야? 두 개. 손을 더럽히는 것을 두려워하지 않는다고. 이거는 계산적인 타입이라는 거네. 이게 맞는 것 같은데. 여기는 지저분한 일을 피하지 않는다에 대한 얘기가 맞지가 않는 것 같아. 무자비한 조직도.
Bad news. The thug you sent to the refugee camp only succeeded in stabbing himself. His next and final journey will be to the morgue.
Hold your horses. Who the hell are you?
Sherlock Holmes. And you are Niccolo Bernadotti, a smuggler, kidnapper, and notorious cutthroat, among other things.
Few men would dare waltz into my office and address me like that. You are either overconfident or unintelligent. This is private property. Give me one reason why I should not shoot you on the spot. I am sure my friends at the station would call it self-defense.
As I said, your man was found dead in the refugee camp. He was there to kidnap a woman, but the other refugees intervened to try and save her. The ensuing scuffle resulted in the man's accidental suicide. He sported the same tattoo as your men in this building. In fact, it also bears a resemblance to the one on your neck. Care to explain what business your man had with this woman?
You have no idea what you are talking about. I can assure you this was no kidnapping. The refugees in the camp are on edge. What happened there is a tragic accident, one I am not responsible for.
For what reason was your man there if not to abduct her?
Why would I answer? You are yet to justify your presence in the slightest.
I was hired, privately, to investigate the recent theft of a painting from an art gallery. My investigation led me to a man from your organization and, thus, to you, Mr. Bernadotti.
That is quite a stretch. Why would I need to steal a painting when I could buy anyone I wanted?
Interestingly enough, I spotted the stolen painting in your storeroom.
I buy and sell a lot of things, Mr. Holmes. Unfortunately, if this is true, it is not the first time I have been sold stolen merchandise. I presume you were hired by the owner of the gallery. Tell them to contact me, and we'll sort out the situation. So, this painting is why you broke into my office.
Mr. Bernadotti, do you know the name Boniface Mercurio?
I do not.
Mercurio was a local artist. Recently, a man broke into his apartment, ransacked the place, and killed him. The thief was looking for something.
You are testing my patience, boy.
In a moment, the connection will reveal itself.
So many words, so little action. When you barged into my office, Mr. Holmes, I got the impression you wanted to talk business. Now I see you had come just to talk. Tell me exactly what you want, or get out.
It was necessary groundwork for what comes next. I have enough evidence to conclude that the gallery thief, the artist's killer, and the dead man in the camp are all the same person.
Your time is almost up, Mr. Holmes.
Before you draw your gun, there is one final detail I am yet to mention. The young woman your man was tasked to collect from the refugee camp had been defiled at a perverse masquerade party. That violation was captured in a photograph by Boniface Mercurio and used as a reference for his painting. The photo shows the attacker's face.
Finally. That's why you're here, Mr. Holmes. You have the photograph.
It is what your man was after when he broke into Mercurio's apartment, and it is what you're after too, isn't it, Mr. Bernadotti?
You have the photograph with you. How much do you want for it?
I am not naive enough to carry it with me, but I am yet to decide what I shall do with it. I know the man in the photo is a British envoy. What interest do you have in his downfall?
I must admit, I'm rather impressed by how comprehensively you have pursued this matter. And so, you deserve the honest answer. My business dealings are often arduous in their bureaucracy. A man in his position, willing to look the other way, could ease my work significantly. In return, I will make sure no one looks his way either. A favor for a favor.
Also known as blackmail, the modus operandi of any true professional.
It was not originally my idea. Mercurio set things in motion, extorting the envoy for the most trivial of ends. Money. In response, the envoy hired my man to retrieve the painting and the photograph, eliminating Mercurio's leverage. I only learned the whole story after the artist was killed in his home.
And rather than extricate yourself, instead you took over Mercurio's venture.
It fell into my lap. As a businessman, I simply seized the opportunity. Now, how much do you want for the image?
그러면 이 남자는 자기 말에 따르면 자기는 뭐 시킨 건 하나도 없고 그 특사가 자기 사람을 고용해가지고 그리고 특사는 자기가 협박당했다. 서로 다른데 솔직히 특사가 이 사람 이 지금 보나 뭐 어쩌고 한 사람의 사람을 고용해가지고 일을 꾸민다. 이게 더 말이 안 되는 것 같은데 왜 그 사람을 고용해? 어쨌든 두 사람 다 그럴 수는 있다. 뭐 증거가 없다. 그 사람 중 더 그럴듯한.
Why did you send your man to remove the woman from the camp?
Without a photograph, her testimony was the next best thing. Securing her was in everyone's interest. Victims and witnesses all too often disappear. I thought the girl was safer with us. I did not anticipate what would happen at the camp.
I could not help but appreciate the collection of smuggled artifacts in your storeroom. You have rather diversified your business.
Oh, high and mighty of you, Mr. Holmes. Not all smuggling is immoral. I pay generous rates to developing cultures and spread their culture to eager buyers. And furthermore, I supply many immigrants with a taste of home.
A very convenient way of thinking.
I have traveled wildly, Mr. Holmes. I've seen people in far-flung lands for whom my services are a lifeline. Without them, they would starve. The tax on cargo is often so absurd that it would be more profitable to simply sink your ship than dock it in the harbor. And trust me, I am speaking from experience.
웃긴다.
I saw refugees from the camp at your warehouse. They work for you.
I have made certain arrangements with City Hall and the police. Thanks to me, refugees can work and be paid. It's a pathway to freedom.
And how much do you save by capitalizing on their cheap labor?
I have heard no complaints. They seem happy just to get out of that slum.
Why should I give you the photograph?
Just name your price.
What if my price were not money? You claim to have connections, Mr. Bernadotte. Perhaps you could improve conditions for the refugees. Give them a chance for a better life.
Ha! I do have connections, Mr. Holmes, but help the whole camp? You are asking too much. I could, however, make arrangements for one person. The woman who was violated will have her own home outside the camp, solely for her and her child. She will no longer be a refugee, but a princess. That I can guarantee.
Is that really possible?
It will be neither fast nor easy, but I can do it. She deserves it, don't you agree? And as for her abuser, he will serve me as much as he deserves.
So in your plan, everybody will be given their due. Especially you, Mr. Bernadotte.
Seems like a fair deal, no? I doubt anyone could offer you better. Simply give me the photograph, and the world becomes a better place. I give you my word.
와우. 두 사람 중 한 명 택하라는 거네. 이거는. 버나도티 이 사람한테 사진을 넘기면 여성에게 굉장히 많은 지원을 해주는 것이고, 특사한테 사진을 주면 특사가 대신에 난민들을 위한 좀 더 큰, 그러나 난민들 모두에게 뭐 엄청난 도움이 되진 않겠지만 어쨌든 그래도 난민을 위해서 뭔가를 하겠다. 그 중에 하나를 택해야 되는 거네. 이렇게 되면 자비 없는 정의. 버나도티와 특사는 모두 끔찍한 상황을 자신에게 유리하게 이용하려고 한다. 둘 다 신뢰할 수 없다. 진실을 폭로한다면 문제가 해결될 것이다. 사진은 보겔에게 건네면 그가 모든 것을 대중에게 알릴 것이다. 버나도티는 수상한 구석이 있는 사업가이지만 닐라와 아이가 행복하게 살게 해주겠다는 그의 약속은 설득력 있게 들린다. 이것이야말로 지금 가장 중요한 것이다. 버나도티에게 특사를 협박할 수 있는 증거를 건네자 것이고, 만약 이거를 이렇게 하면 이렇게 가서 자비 없는 정의. 이건 어쨌든 보겔에게 주는 거고, 토마스 노트는 끔찍한 짓을 저지른 방탕자이다. 정의의 심판을 받아 마땅한 자이지만 심판을 위해 내가 누군가의 자유를 희생할 수는 없다. 특사에게 사진을 주고 그 대가로 난민들의 지위를 합법화하지. 이런 데 개입하면 안 돼. 답이 없는 정의로 하자. 잠깐만. 근데 보겔이 믿을 만한 사람이냐는 거야. 아, 이거 좀. 대중에게 알게 나는 이 전제는 받아들여야 돼. 이것까지 의심하기 시작하면 사실 모든 게 지금 한쪽 방향으로만. 나머지는 다 신뢰한다. 라인 전제 하에서 있는 사실 신뢰할 수 없는 인간들이죠.
The front door's now open, sir. You can leave through it. If you want, of course.
어렵다, 어려워. 그러나 끝났다. 그냥 포기. 나? 아닌데? 아, 정작 계획 미술관이 어디지 모르겠네. 어디지? 여긴가? 여긴 것 같아.
Mr. Holmes, you've returned. Have you uncovered anything new about the theft?
I've brought news, but not all of it will please you.
Fill me in, Mr. Holmes. I won't shoot the messenger.
I tracked down Boniface Mercurio.
I presume he wasn't delighted about the situation.
He was not having a good day on account of his murder. Killed in his own flat by the same person that stole his painting.
Oh, sweet Mercurio. Perishing in the pursuit of his art. How apt. I will miss his exceptional sense of humor.
I located the thief, but found him rather cold. He was tight-lipped about the painting, too.
Huh, he's dead. How very droll, Mr. Holmes. One presumes you were not responsible.
It was an accident at the refugee camp. He impaled himself on his own knife.
Life is nothing if not cruel and capricious. What about the stolen painting? Have you located it?
I found the painting, but I could not retrieve it.
Well then, where is it?
In Bernadotti's office.
Bernadotti? That shady businessman? Why would he steal it from me?
I'm afraid you'll have to ask him yourself.
I take it you found something more then.
I found the source of Mercurio's artistic inspiration. A photograph. What troubled me was that the sexual act captured was non-consensual.
She was violated? Dear God, how despicable.
Her abuser was in fact the British envoy. Mercurio took a picture of him committing the atrocity and then used it as artistic inspiration.
I had no idea a mere break-in would eventually expose such barbarity.
Mr. Vogel, I want you to make everything public, including the photograph. I'm sure you have a connection at the Cordona Chronicle.
Ah, Mr. Holmes, Loyal to your own truth till the end. Yes, I'm acquainted with the staff of the Chronicle. The story is sensational, and will surely draw attention to the gallery. But you must be aware that exposing the scandal will further hurt the victim. Does that not bother you?
No matter what one does, the truth tends to come out, as well it should. I won't be the one to stand in its way.
Though it's only your subjective truth being exposed. Not that I'm judging. It's perfectly reasonable for everyone to have their own views.
When you called me, you knew exactly what you would get.
Oh, but I'm not like you, Mr. Holmes. I cannot be sure of anything. Regardless, I must thank you, for art's sake. Well, now that we've resolved all of our outstanding matters, I have a gift for you. I took the liberty of having it delivered to Stonewood Manor. I am told it belonged to your mother.
And what exactly have you sent me?
Frankly, I'm not sure how to answer that. I trust you'll know.
Previously, you mentioned there may have been more to my mother's passing than consumption. It appears you were right.
Oh, dear. I'd hoped to be wrong.
She was unstable, mentally unwell. She required sustained, specialized treatment, but her madness persisted.
I knew that Violet had disappeared from the public eye, but had no idea of her suffering. I cannot imagine what you're feeling.
I'm fine. Thank you, Mr. Vogel. I am curious to see what you have procured.
엄마, 이제 정말 이제 알 수 있는 건가? 아니면 또 뭔가 있는 것인가? 누가 있네?
Mr. Sherlock Holmes, I presume.
Correct. With whom do I have the pleasure?
Emilio Estevaux. Happy to make your acquaintance. I am here on behalf of Mycroft, your brother. He's on his way to Cordona. In the meantime, he requests your assistance with a sensitive matter. My orders are to provide you with the details.
You have my attention, Mr. Estevaux.
Mark Ridley, the son of General Arthur Ridley, is being blackmailed. Suffice to say, the compromising material is of a delicate nature. The matter is of no small importance to the Crown, especially given the status quo on Cordona.
What about the status quo?
The Ottoman population holds a certain animosity towards the colonial rule. It's been this way since we took over the island. General Ridley made concessions with their leaders, but I'm afraid we are still teetering on the edge of open hostility.
What does Mycroft want me to do? Retrieve the blackmail material?
No, sir, nothing of the sort. Mark Ridley is meeting the blackmailer atop the old city bridge tower. You shall observe from a distance, then establish the blackmailer's identity. Do not attempt to arrest him. We'll handle it from there.
Saving the best for yourself? Fine.
There's a cafe just over the bridge that provides a good vantage point. Please report to me when you are done. I'll be waiting for you here, and remember, discretion is of the essence.
뭐야 이게? 난 지금 그걸 해결해야 되는데 이게 무슨 얘기야? 상황이 또 생겼나? 아, 왜 이렇게 많아 할게. 그러나 다 무시하겠다. 어? 야, 뭐야 꼴이잖아. 인어야? 아, 또 인어.
It's a bizarre object, and yet oddly familiar.
Did you just remember something?
Yes. A room full of curiosities and artifacts. I think I can find it in the manor.
Sherlock.
So, you continue to pursue the imaginary. I had hoped you might have got all this out of your system by now.
Mycroft, what are you doing here? Get out of my house.
It's my house, actually. I've come to bring you back.
I have no interest in returning, let alone with you. I know you lied about Mother all these years, claiming she was merely ill, but she was unstable. She never had tuberculosis. She was not recuperating, but mentally deteriorating, and you never once thought to tell me. How dare...
I shall not indulge this petulant tantrum. You can just tire yourself out and then slink back to London with your tail between your legs.
Just tell me everything! I'm an adult now. Show me the basic courtesy of an explanation. You know I will find out eventually.
The goal was stability, and that's what you got. The right thing for everyone was to try and move on from her passing.
The consequences of one's actions determines what is right or wrong.
Yes, exactly. The ends justify the means. After leaving Cordona, Sherlock, you had a normal childhood. In London, I was able to support you, guide you, shape you into a fine and productive young man. You have so much potential, so much to offer society.
But that's not the end. Now I found the truth, and it has shattered everything I knew about her, about you, and about myself. I feel unstable because of you. Your actions were not justified. Lying never is.
Oh, grow up, Sherlock. It was a white lie which has as much use in the realm of the interpersonal as the international. It is time you come to accept that some things are bigger than yourself.
Oh, you are full of it. You like to pretend you care about the big picture, but it's just an ego trip. You like knowing more than others. You like greasing palms and rubbing shoulders with the rich and powerful. You like having eyes and ears everywhere. The fact it helps the nation is incidental, because all you care about is yourself.
It's true. I have agents everywhere, including Cordona. If you weren't so damn stubborn, you'd realize that means I'm only here for you.
진짜 마이크로프트가 온 거야? 야, 뭐 끝이야? 근데?
Just look at this thing. It's huge.
얘는 그거밖에 할 얘기가 없냐? 그렇다면 이제 또 새로운 방을 또 이건가? 열린 방이 이거 금이간기. 저택 1층에 상당히 인상적인 그림 근처에 있었던 게 확실하다. 그거겠지 뭐. 이제 지금 16분? 끊어야 되겠다. 네, 여기까지 하겠습니다. 다음 내용. 이 방에 들어가서 이제 새로운 단서를 발견한 어머니에 대한 새로운 단서를 발견한 것은